Hello, praise the Lord. Welcome to Scripture Time. I hope you're all learning a lot of things from the Scriptures. God has been faithful in teaching us several things from the Scriptures, even as we come to Him with a heart which is a teachable. God is pretty much interested to teach us several things from the Scriptures. I hope you've been learning a lot of things from the Scriptures through this program. If you feel it is pretty much helpful for you, why don't you just share these videos to others as well? We've been learning a lot of things from the book of Leviticus, and we've been doing a series on the things that we can find in the book of Leviticus. We've already covered two of the offerings that were important as far as the law is concerned for them to partake of those offerings. We are going to get into the third offering today, which is called the peace offering. The peace offering is all about having peace with God. This offering has been introduced in such a way that they could experience the peace with God and they could dwell in peace with the people around them as well. So there's a purpose that is being mentioned with this offering is all about having peace and communion with the Lord and having peace and communion with the fellow citizens where they're living in the community. So let us look into the details of the peace offering, why it has to be offered, and what is the purpose of this offering, and how it has to be offered in a rightful sense. Let us look into the details. When we read about the peace offering in Leviticus chapter 3, verse 1 to 17, we read that this offering is all about the peace or the fellowship or the communion offering. And the Hebrew name for this peace offering is Zabak or Shlamim, literally means sacrifices of pieces. So we give these offerings or sacrifices to attain peace with God and to have peace with the people around us. The second word shlamim comes from the well-known Hebrew word shalom, which means peace or to make peace. So shalom is widely known and acceptable word for experiencing the peace. And this was the voluntary thanksgiving offering that could be given unto the Lord. So it emphasized complete well being and harmony, not merely the absence of war. So it is all about dwelling in peace with God and with people around us. And the uniqueness of this offering is that certain parts were burned on the altar and providing a sweet smelling aroma to God, but the rest was given back to the petitioner. So that is the one who offered it, got most of it back. So the petitioner will always get the best of it, and the petitioner is the one, or the worshipper is the one who would get the best out of this offering. Usually, when we think about the burnt offering, everything will be burnt unto God. It will be offered so that it would go up as a sweet smelling aroma unto the Lord. And the second grain offering or meal offering is all about giving as a thanksgiving offering unto the Lord, and the remaining parts would be given to the Levites or the priests. But here in this offering, there's much that could be taken back, or there's much that could be given to the worshipper or a petitioner. So, worshipper is going to get more out of this offering. In fact, the peace is the first important thing, and all the other things he would get so that he could have a fellowship with his people around him as well. So, when we see it's a believer's way of participating in the blessings of the fellowship or communion with God and the community via a shared ceremonial meal. It's all about having a kind of feasting, kind of ceremonial meal with all the community people that is possible with this peace offering. So, what are the occasions when this peace offering is required? What are those occasions when God asked His people to offer these peace offerings? When we look into Bible, there are again two categories that we can see here. Privately, they have to do it for some reasons, and there are some reasons where they have to do as a community in a public way. So when we look upon the private way, there are again two parts in it. First of all, voluntary offerings of two forms, either as a thanksgiving offering. Thanksgiving offering is all about what God has done for them and whatever the blessings that God has bestowed over their lives, especially the deliverance that they have experienced from the Lord. They have to offer a peace offering unto the Lord in private. So it's all about the personal offering that they would give to God, because they are experiencing the freedom in God, and they are experiencing the liberty in God. So this is all about giving thanks to God, and this could be done with respect to thanksgiving offering. And in this offering, they bake the cakes and the bread with unleavened bread, and they share with the officiating priest, and they will experience the abundant joy of having a peace offering and peace fellowship with everyone else. And there's a second thing to it, which is a second form, the free will offering, or a spontaneous free will offering, again voluntary, but again this is to express devotion and thanksgiving to God for unexpected blessing. So whatever they have received as a blessing from the Lord, they would give as a free will offering to God. And whoever have experienced the blessings, they would only come and they will bring something to the Lord in their thanksgiving. So this is done in private. This is again a voluntary thing. And when it comes to the offering in second form, when it comes to private offering, is all about what I votive offering, or if somebody have taken a vow, if somebody have pledged something to the Lord, probably they would bring something to the Lord back. So this is an opportunity for them to bring something to fulfill their vow to the Lord. So this is also kind of peace offering done especially for the Nazarite vow, and the vows that they have made personally to the Lord. Based on their vow that was made to the Lord, they will bring these kind of peace offerings to the Lord. So these are done in a private way, and these are legitimately, voluntarily done based on their vow that was with the Lord. Second kind of offerings that were done in public is all about the congregation or the community comes together and they will give a peace offering to the Lord. When we see these things, required offerings in again two forms, especially when a priest is going to be ordinated, and a priest's ordination happens, when the priests get consecrated, they will offer a peace offering as a community in order for them to be consecrated. And mandatory during the feast of the weeks or the sacrifice and offerings of the old covenant always happens at every festival time. So this is done in the community with respect to the community, so that it will be done in a public manner. So these are the occasions when the peace offering would be offered unto the Lord. When we see what are the required sacrifices, that's again list of required sacrifices that would be given. Again, four characteristics that we have to see in those required sacrificial animals. First thing, it has to be ceremonially clean. Second thing, it should be utilitarian or usable for food, or it has to be eatable. Third thing, it has to be domesticated. It should not be catched from the wild. It should be domesticated. It should be fully grown, domesticated. And the fourth thing is all about costly. It should cost you something, because offering that you bring to the Lord should always cost you something. And based on your level of affordability, you should be able to bring something best to the Lord. So that is the motive in every other offering that we could see. And what are the animals that were allowed to bring as a part of this peace offering? There are again four animals we can see: the bull, the cow, the male sheep or goat, and the female sheep or goat. Here in this offering, we even see female animals were also being brought to offer as a peace offering. Why does God allow all these things? Because based on their affordability, they can bring anything out of these animals. And because the criteria is also very much important, the condition, it has to be blameless, it has to be spotless, it has to be without disease and deformity, and the gender is again male or female, anything is fine. And age, generally the animal had to be 1 year old, or if it is a lamb, at the peak of the life and health, and sometimes it could be young or as 8 days old, or as old as 3 years. So it depends on the level of affordability, and whatever the best they can bring, let them bring. So these are the required sacrificial animals and their characteristics and their conditions that have to be met so that they could bring them as a peace offering to the Lord. When we some part of the peace offerings include the grain offering as well. When it is being given as a Thanksgiving peace offering, Thanksgiving peace offering will always have something to do with the grain offering as well. So it has to be done along with the grain offering, because in Thanksgiving it has to be done without yeast and without with the olive oil. They have to do this, and they have to bring all these things in order for them to show their gratitude towards what God has done for them. And when we see, there are again 8 steps or 8 sequential steps to be followed as part of this peace offering. The first step being, the worshipper will bring the animal to the entrance of the tent of the meeting, and the worshipper, in the second step, worshipper pressed his hands on the animal's head and confesses that this is going to be sacrificed on behalf of this family or this person. And the third step is, again, the worshipper will kill the animal. Fourth step, the priest would splash the animal's blood over and around the bronze altar. Fifth step being, the worshipper would butcher the animal. Sixth step being, the parts of the animals were salted and then burned on the altar by the priest, providing a sweet smelling aroma to God. So this includes kidneys or all the which were the symbol of one's emotions, and the fat, including the liver's fatty lobe, which symbolized the best of the offering. And the best was given to God according to Genesis. And furthermore, Israelites were forbidden to eat any of the fat or blood. So, in any of the offerings, they are not supposed to eat the fat or the blood. It has to be offered to the Lord. This will be done. The seventh step, the priest was entitled to keep certain parts of the animal, the skin, the right thigh or shoulder, to the officiating priest, and the breast to all the other priests. So the worshipper and his family, their servants, Levites, and the poor ate the remainder of the sacrifice. As I already told, the one who will be benefited from this offering is the one who is offering this a sacrifice or offering. So the worshipper will get the most of it. Of course, the priest also will get some, but the worshipper will have more, so that he cannot have it with himself, but he has to have it as a meal, as a fellowship meal with the others as well. He can either have it with the poor around him, he can have it with his servants, his family, and with the people around him, or the Levites could also be a part of this. So, in this way, they can have a good fellowship together. So, this is the way how it has to be done, all the sequential 8 steps that needs to be followed as part of the peace offering. And what is the typological message that we can learn from this offering? Where is Christ to be seen in this offering? Remember, Jesus hung on the cross as a peace offering for all of us. He has offered himself as a peace offering for us so that we could attain peace with God. Without the sacrifice of Jesus, probably we would not have attained an eternal peace with God. All these sacrifices and burnt offerings and everything would temporarily bestow some peace to us, but it has to be continuously done. We have to offer these things even now today as well. But with the sacrifice of Jesus once for all, he has given us the peace, and he has bestowed his peace once for all, and we have been reconciled back to God because of this peace offering that Christ has voluntarily given himself as as a sweet swelling aroma unto God, and God was much pleased with his sacrifice, and we have been offered or bestowed the perfect peace, and we are experiencing his peace through his sacrifice on the cross. So this is done so that we could experience the partaking of his peace that he has bestowed over our lives through his sacrifice. Second thing, without having this sacrifice, without having Jesus as our peace offering made unto God, we can never experience the peace of God, and we can never be able to live at peace with people around us. Remember what Jesus said in his Gospels when he said, if you are about to give an offering to the Lord or a sacrifice unto the Lord, first you go and reconcile with people around you whom you have some disturbance with, or if somebody have something against you, just go and have peace with them and then come and offer your sacrifice so that you could be accepted, so that your offering could be accepted. Same way, without attaining peace with God, we cannot go back to our people and we cannot live in peace with people. And without having peace with the people around us, whatever we may bring to the Lord, it is not going to bring peace to us. So, whatever we do, it has to be done in a peaceful manner. First of all, it's our responsibility that through this offering, God is teaching us we should have peace with God. And for that, we don't have to offer sacrifices like the way how they did, but we have to have this consciousness and acknowledge what Christ has done for all of us, because He has offered His life as a peace offering for all of us so that we could attain peace and have right standing relationship with God. And when we have attained peace with God, it's our responsibility to maintain this peace with God and walk in this peace. Not only that, it's our responsibility to have peace with people around us. If we don't have peace with God, we cannot have peace with people around us. And if we don't have peace with the people around us, we are not walking in the peace that God has attained for all of us through the sacrifice of Christ Jesus. And when we don't have this peace with the people around us, we cannot say we have peace with God as well. So it is intertwined. So if one say that I have peace with God, he should have peace with people around them. He should not have any objections with the people around them. And at the same time, if you want to be at peace with God, you should make peace with people around us. That's why Jesus said, if you love me, first deny yourself, be at peace with everyone, love everyone. If you don't live in love with everyone, how can you say that you love me? Because the people whom you can see, if you are not able to love them, how can you love a God whom you cannot see? So this is all about the peace offering. Even as we learn so many things from this peace offering, are you at peace with God? If you are at peace with God through the sacrifice of Jesus, forget not, have peace with the people around you so that you would live in this peace and continue to be in peace with God. Thank you so much for watching. Next week, we'll meet when we learn the other offerings and sacrifices. God be with you all.